So, good morning. Today is the Paddock Wood Half Marathon and I'm starting off the day like every other day. Electrolytes, coffee and chocolate cereal because I'm still a child. So if you want to see a bit more of an in-depth video into kind of all the supplements I take and why I take them, let me know down below and I'll make it happen. But right, I'm going to get this down me. Paddock Wood Half Marathon starts at 10 o'clock. It's 6:30, but I need to leave it about 7:30. And I still need to get my stuff ready because I've left it to the last minute. Good luck to everyone racing this weekend. Let's go. So just going through my race kit quickly. Just a massive thank you obviously to Start Fitness and Adidas for sending me this absolutely fire kind of race outfit, if you like. So obviously we've got the Adidas singlet, Adidas gel shorts, which I'm excited to try today for the half marathon because I'm going to practice some kind of race day fueling, obviously geared around the marathon, and they've got these pockets all around the outside that I'm not demonstrating very well, but yeah, they've got this like nice little pocket layer so you can put gels and stuff in there. I haven't tested how many gels you can fit in there, but I imagine you can get probably, I don't know, 6 or so in there probably. Socks, a couple of gels, Oakleys just in case it is sunny, heart rate monitor obviously, and then Coros Pace Pro on the wrist, and then Adios Pro 4s, which I don't know if I can quite bring myself to wear the triple white ones today. I just found with the Adidas shoe, as much as it's a fantastic shoe, like the best super shoe that I've tried, I do find it loses its spring relatively quickly. I've done a couple 100k and they're starting to just feel like they've lost their pop, but I guess that's kind of standard in carbon-plated shoes. So that's the plan. I'm gonna get changed now, and yeah, better kind of head off because I always get up with plenty of time and then always end up running late. So right, let's get ready. I've also just applied some of this runner's rub. Obviously not going to show you where, as much as some of you may like that. Essentially, yeah, just with the increased mileage, been starting to get a little bit of chafing just on the inside of my legs. So literally just headed down to the local running shop and just bought some runner's rub. Don't know if it's any good, never used it before, so this is not an advert. So here in Paddock Wood, it's not too far from where I live actually, only about 55 minutes in the end, so just walking around to the start now. Already got my race number because that kind of comes in the post, so just yeah, gonna pray that no one breaks into my car this time around, but yeah, looking forward to it. It's a bit early for Darude Sandstorm, but fair enough. So just warming up, getting ready to race, doing my normal thing, 4k warm up as I always do, because you know, don't change anything on race day, and also with the marathon in mind, obviously I still want to keep my volume there. So 4k before, then a half marathon at half marathon race pace, and then 4k cool down. Now the only slight thing with this race is yesterday I was doing my normal pre-race workout and got tripped up by a dog lead, so I ever so slightly twinged my Achilles, which is bloody irritating because I just can't catch a break at the moment. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how I get on, if that Achilles will play ball, but with London in mind I'm also not gonna completely bury myself or risk injuring myself further just to, you know, get around one race. So I've got to try and be sensible. Yeah, I'm not known for being sensible. So my PB for the half marathon sits at 67.26, so 107.26, which is around 3:11, 3:12 per k. Today I've got a few goals. Obviously, first and foremost PB. I'd like a sub 67, but I'd also really like a sub 66, so going straight down from 3:12 per k hoping to average 306, 307 per k, or 5-minute miling, and that will roughly get me somewhere between 65.30 and 66, all being well. So that's the plan. Whether that happens or not, the race plan from coach is essentially 5 seconds slower than target pace for the first 5k, then the middle 10k to really lock in at target pace, and then the last 6k is a free hit, like empty the tank, see what you've got in the legs, that sort of thing. So yeah, gonna put it into practice and see what happens. Oh, I'm excited. We've gone for the triple white. Brave choice. So race is in about 20 minutes, having a gel. And it's time for me to drop my bag off. There's probably not going to be too much race footage, to be honest, because it's a bit of a rural course, not too many crowds, but I'll do my best. And yeah, see you on the other side. Let's see what the legs have got, and hopefully my Achilles holds up. Let's get it.
Come on, Cole. Looking good, mate. Lads. Come on, Cole. Put the hammer down now. Nice few miles coming up. Well, mate. Good running, lads. Cracking running.
Won't be any like conversation in it. It's just literally just. So, not sure how that happened. Ended up getting a humongous PB of 65.01, I think is the official time, which is obviously very irritating. But over 2 minutes off my PB. I mean, I can't be upset with that. I'm using all my strength not to be slightly upset that it wasn't 64 something. But yeah, overall, obviously very chuffed with that. It was a lot hotter than I thought it was going to be. A lot hillier than I remember as well. Like no steep hills, but like some rolling hills, which definitely played a part. But yeah, we'll have a little debrief when we get home. I'm just going to wait for the little presentation, get my trophy, and I think there's a little bit of cash for the win as well. So fantastic stuff. Yeah, tough day out there today. Definitely did it I made it a painful race, put it that way. So, but yeah, anyway, we'll debrief in a bit. So, we're back in the car. I'm just gonna, I don't know, I wanted to give some kind of initial thoughts about the race before I kind of get home, and then, I don't know, things have diluted a little bit. And talk about some kind of thoughts that I had in my mind before the race, because sometimes I don't really want to say things and then they come across like kind of excuses, so they're easier to kind of say after the event, because then you're like, well, they weren't an excuse because they ended up being alright. But yeah, just had a bit of a kind of a crappy week. As I said about my Achilles before the race, I wasn't sure how that was going to play out, and it's still a little bit sore, but it was okay during the race. And just this week's been like a little bit crappy in terms of like what happened with my car last week has possibly affected me a little bit more than I thought it would have. Silly things like when I was leaving my car to go to the race today, I was thinking like, is someone going to be kind of opportunistic and they're just sat waiting until I head to the race and I'm going to be gone for a couple hours. And silly little things kind of like playing up my mind, like I basically took everything out of my car with me to the race, which is completely unnecessary and results in me carrying this huge bag to the baggage area. But and yeah, silly things like it's just so hot today, comparative to kind of what we've been running in recently, kind of like less than 10 degrees, less than 5 degrees even. Today was just quite warm, so I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but obviously a fantastic result in the end. So they're not excuses, because I guess everything kind of played into my hands really a little bit. Started the race, felt a little bit crappy in the first couple of kilometres, and as I said before the race, the game plan was to kind of go 5 seconds slower than target pace per K for the first 5K, then lock into target pace for the next 10K, and then the final 6K was just empty the tank. But I ended up kind of going a little bit rogue in terms of just kind of decided to just kind of put the hammer down kind of, I stuck to the pace target for the first 3k, and then I don't know, I really kind of picked it up a little bit. The course was definitely hillier than I expected, or at least what I remembered. So I ended up getting about 100 meters of elevation, which isn't the hilliest course in the world, but it's certainly not pancake flat. I mean, you could go to like Valencia Marathon, for example, and get, well, less than that for an entire marathon, and a lot less than that. So obviously definitely scope to run quicker, but I mean, I can't be happy with the 64, 59, 65 flat, depending on how the chip time kind of comes in my favour. But yeah, the last kind of 6k were tough with the heat. Kind of the wind was more of a tailwind, which is obviously good for pace, but it means you don't really feel the breeze. And then it ended up getting really cold. Ended up getting really hot. And one thing that I've definitely learned going into the marathon is that I need to think about some way of getting some kind of fluid on board. Purely because in the temperatures like this, I just found that my mouth was getting really dry, especially with the gel, kind of getting a bit sticky. And the first drink station, I went to grab some water, and it's like they weren't expecting us to grab any drinks, and the first guy just like held onto it really tight and wouldn't let me take it. So I ended up getting no water at the first station, which is fine. Like, didn't affect me at all. But I am definitely finding with this kind of high mileage training that I'm not dying in races the same way. It's like I'm starting to slow, but I'm only losing a couple of seconds per kilometre, if that makes sense, rather than completely falling off a cliff, which is obviously good. But yeah, right, let's head home, refuel, and yeah, try and enjoy this result, because it was a bloody good result, and I should be happy with it. So a little pat on the back there. Right, let's go. So, another brilliant day. As I said earlier, it was very, very unexpected. I did not expect to run that well today. Just, yeah, I don't know. This is the first race in a long time where some pre-race nerves definitely started creeping in. And as I said earlier about things that kind of can come across like excuses sometimes, I did want to say them before. And another thing that I did think of actually is the other day, one of my patients came in and she was very, very ill. Obviously wasn't super happy that she came in. I'd rather she rescheduled the appointment, but yeah, silly things like that. I was thinking, oh, well, I hope I don't get ill, and then I woke up this morning with like this kind of like tickly throat, and I was like, oh god, here we go, I've got the plague, but ended up being absolutely fine, and I'm not ill now. So, but yeah, after the race, went home, went out for lunch with the family, bought myself a slice of cake just to celebrate. I think it was a caramel and banana tray bake, very nice. But yeah, that's the Paddock Wood half marathon. Lovely little trophy as well. A lovely little £150 check. I'm obviously not going to show you that, but that obviously is very helpful after the last couple of weeks. A massive well done to the ladies winner, Lucy Jones, who up until the Distance Project's recent YouTube video, I didn't know who that was. And that's why videos like that are so great, because it's obviously like teaching people and educating people of all the different kind of domestic athletes in the country that are just absolutely smashing their training and racing. So yeah, massive well done to her. I think she beat the course record. So yeah, I'm sure she's pretty chuffed with the £250 course record that you get for that. So the official result has come through as a 65.00, which is just one of those really annoying things. But yeah, it just means that next time, sub 65 hopefully. And yeah, talking about the race in a little bit more detail, I guess, working through the paces of the race. To be honest, when the gun went off the first couple of kilometres, my plan was to kind of stick to 3:10 per k, and that's exactly what I did for kilometres like 0 to 3 really. And I felt dreadful, legs felt so lethargic, which sometimes can happen after a bit of a taper. You either feel like with a taper you either feel insane or you feel a bit sluggish on race day, and I just felt a bit sluggish. So then through kind of kilometre 4, started to get downhill a little bit, started to pick up the pace a tad. So like started to kind of work my way into the race and started to feel a little bit better. There wasn't any major hills during the race, but it was just kind of rolling hills the whole way. So it definitely wasn't a flat course like I remembered it to be. Definitely hillier than I kind of remember. And then kind of kilometres 7 to 10 was about like starting to pick up the pace a little bit, drop the K pace down from kind of that 307, 310 range down to kind of 303, 305, that sort of area. And then kind of kilometres 10 to 13 10 to 14. Started to kind of get that sensation of kind of like, oh, have I gone off a little bit too quick here? And then yeah, it really started to set in the final kind of 7k. I thought I might have been in a slight bit of trouble. But yeah, massive well done to Max Malavi. He came second. He was basically on my tail from kind of kilometre 1 to kilometre 17. And really kind of had me working hard. I did pull out a few little kind of zigzags and started kind of swerving all over the place to try and shake him off, but he was on me like white on rice. Yeah, just yeah, tricky to shake him off, but yeah, it made me really work hard for it today, and he did the tactically sensible thing of just kind of letting me do the work. And to be completely honest, in the final 4k, if I hadn't slightly started to drop him, I might have crumbled a little bit psychologically, just because yeah, he wasn't going anywhere, couldn't seem to shake him, and the fatigue was really setting in. But then that mental boost that I got when I started to see that gap start to be created, that really helps me kind of, I don't know, maintain the pace. And yeah, when I saw the clock towards the end of the race, I always see races as kind of the final K, final mile kind of sorts itself out, so I don't really think about it too much. And I saw 400 to go. I think I had about 80 seconds to play with, so I was thinking, oh, 3-minute Ks is a 72-second lap, like, it should be okay. But that was including a hill, and then it came onto the home straight, and I could see the clock ticking down, and I just got there like 65.00, and obviously I have just missed out on that 64. But yeah, hey, mum kind of said to me earlier, she was like, what are your goals for this year? And it's made me realise I've already got my 10k goal, which was sub 30, and I already got my half marathon goal, which was sub 66. So, oh, it might have been sub 65.30, I can't remember, but either way, I've got it, which is obviously just insane. So, anyway, a massive thank you to everyone that's kind of supported me over the last couple of weeks. The GoFundMe was so successful, and in fact, I'm going to put names of everybody who donated on the screen now, just because the support was absolutely insane. And a couple of people have asked me what camera did I buy with the money, and the honest answer is I haven't replaced the camera yet, and that's because I need my ID to access the money, and I had to buy a replacement ID, so that's still in the post somewhere. So my driving license is in the post. So once I've got that money through, then I'll buy the replacement camera, and then I'll show you what I've kind of bought with some of the money that was raised together, which obviously I'm super grateful for, and I really appreciate it. Brought a little tear to my eye, you might say. So yeah, it just helped to make a really bad situation just that little bit better, you know. I ended up buying my replacement iPad, which is sat on the floor behind me, still in its box, because I haven't opened it yet, because it feels like I kind of admit defeat at that point, because there's that kind of that slight underlying hope that I thought that it might get found, or maybe I could get the police to kind of do something, maybe, but it's just not looking like that's going to happen. So yeah, shit situation, but flipped it on its head, and it's ended up, well, showing me that you guys really appreciate the videos, and I want to make the best content I can going forward, to just make sure that you're getting as much kind of information, education, enjoyment from these videos. I don't want them to just be more rubbish filling the YouTube space. I think I've touched on everything that I wanted to touch on today. The Pro 4s in the triple white that I went with in the end are still triple white, so I managed to dodge all of the potholes and the muddy sections. The only thing I would say is I'm slightly concerned for the weather going into London. It was already kind of 15 to 17 degrees today, and that already felt like a bit of a heat wave. So yeah, London, it could be a hot one, so fingers crossed it's not. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share with anyone that you think will enjoy it. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.